A little bit of lime and a little bit of onion here, and I got a little bit of salt, and I start putting them together, and what happens is this beautiful little concoction begins to form because I got pressure going on at the right places here. You know, let me just take a little break from the guacamole and tell you what James says about pressure in our life. Listen to James chapter 1. This is really the first piece of our whole thing. He says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds." In other words, the trials there would be pressure. Let me ask you this morning, what's creating the pressure point for you today? Notice what he says. He says, you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And some of you feel like you're being tested today. Some of you feel like somebody put you in a molcajete and they've been grinding around on you for a while. And the reality is it doesn't feel very good. That pressure, that friction that you got going on in your life right now, it really doesn't feel very good at all. But behind the pressure, there's something going on that really we have to understand. And this is the first point that James begins to make for us. Proper pressure produces a beautiful product in the end. It's the same way with guacamole. You start putting all this stuff together, and what happens is you got to apply some pressure to it. I've tried this before. You can't just like throw stuff in. Go, hey, guacamole, dip in. No, it doesn't work like that. You gotta begin to break it down a little bit. That's not pleasant for some of us because really, I know in my life, nobody enjoys having their life broken down. I mean, that's not fun, right? One of the things that I've learned, though, in the last few years of my life in particular is that some of the pressure points in my life that create the biggest pain in my life produce the most beautiful product for me. It's that friction, that grinding that goes on. And, you know, all of us have parts of our life that are not good, right? I mean, there are pieces of our life that need to be kind of cut out. Because they really aren't the best pieces of our life. And part of the process of making a good life is cutting out the stuff that we don't really need in our life. So I want you to keep this in your mind today because some of you feel like you're in the molcajete of life and you're kind of even wondering where God's at in this whole process. And you don't know if you're even going to be able to survive it or not. It really doesn't even feel very survivable right now. You may have suffered a loss of some economic stability. You may have suffered a loss of some relational stability in your life. Maybe something going on where you feel like that you really can't handle any more pressure in your life. One of the most dangerous things that we can do in the moment of pressure is to give in to it and begin to believe that God, He's not working. He's nowhere to be found. The reality is, this might be a hard reality for some of us, is that God is at work in the pressure moment of your life. In fact, it might even be that God is the one holding the pestle in the molcajete, applying the pressure to the right points of your life. So what is God, I mean, does God really do that? Well, look at what James says again. Back to this passage of Scripture, the first couple of pieces. He says, "Consider pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face many kinds of trials, because you know the testing of your faith develops perseverance." So somewhere in the process, God has to be at work developing, growing, testing our faith. But I know for me, when the painful time comes, I have to have the proper posture. Otherwise, I'm gonna miss the moment. And my tendency, when I start feeling the pressure come, when I start feeling like a little friction going on in my life, you know what I want to do? I want to dodge it completely. I'm like, God, no. Don't need any more pressure. I'm already pressured out. Don't want any more pain in my life. So I start trying to avoid it. I try to find a place to hide from it. And what I'm learning in my journey is the very best thing I can do is embrace the pressure. and realize that it's creating a product that ultimately will be beautiful. Right now, not too beautiful. It's kind of messy. But ultimately, it's going to be beautiful.